Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma 231 here, back in days about Märchen Crown Chapter number 25. This chapter is titled Glass Pear. And yes, to everybody at home, you may be sitting there being like, man, Glowplasma hasn't uploaded a Märchen Crown video in like a month, and wow, I can't believe you were actually right on that, because the last Märchen Crown video I actually uploaded was the Chapter 24 review. Wow, who would have thought that, like, Chapter 24 and then Chapter 25, that's some riveting stuff right there, you know? And yes, you would be right, I actually upload that video on November 18th of 2025, and here I am on December 18th of 2025 getting the next Märchen Crown video taken care of. Wow, insane. That's so interesting, you know what I'm saying? And the other thing you may realize is, wow, Glowplasma also sounds different again, and this is going to be more of a sound you'll be hearing going forward, because I have recently spent money on good audio equipment for myself, and was that money I should have been spending on good audio equipment? Some would say no. I would say yes, because this is like my favorite thing to do, is sit down at my desk and not even read manga. I love to talk about manga for some reason, and you know what? That's what we are doing today, right? So yes, I have actually bought myself a good microphone for the first time in my life. I was using my school's microphones because, like, I'm a broadcasting student where I go to college, and now that I am back home for winter break, it's like I no longer have a good microphone to use. And of course, like, whenever I started out this Märchen Crown series, I was using my phone microphone. But there is just something about sitting here and being like, oh yes, I used my phone microphone for so long, and oh, then I got like the taste of a good like $300-400 microphone, how it sounds. And then I'm like, you know what, let me meet in the middle, or go even lower, being like, my phone costs a lot of money, because it's like, come on, Apple, why can't you give us cheap products? Granted, I've not updated or like gotten a new phone in many a year, so I don't know, maybe the new phones today have like amazing audio quality or something like that, but I went to my local micro center and bought myself a $100 microphone, and I also bought a $25 XLR cable, because I did not know how expensive XLR cables were, because like at my college, XLR cables, especially in a broadcasting building, are like a dime a dozen. You go to anybody and they just like pull one out of their back pocket, and it's like, oh, cool, I didn't realize everybody just had XLR cables and they were so expensive, but whatever. And I also bought myself a good old audio interface to hook up to my computer, like the one I have up at school, which could have been the most, like, expensive part out of all of this, but thankfully I got one on very deep discount. And granted, the reason it's on deep discount is because the company has discontinued it, and also for the fact that it sort of is a piece of shit. But you know what? We're not talking about that. It gets the job done. I think this sounds good, so we're going to talk about Märchen Crown. And this chapter is honestly amazing. I don't know if I mentioned it's Märchen Crown chapter number 25, titled Glass Pear. I probably mentioned that, but that was like 2 minutes ago at this point, so like, do you think I'm remembering all of that? But of course, if you guys do not remember what happened last time in Märchen Crown, I don't blame you. I didn't either. But what happened last time was Cinderella was like destroying the entire realm, but like all of these glass thorns are like sprouting out of the ground, destroying the town, murdering people, and it's all so bad, and destruction and all of these various things. And Cinderella's just being like, man, why was I born? Like, if only I wasn't born, all of this wouldn't have happened, all of this, like, bad things. And it wasn't really looking good, but all of a sudden, she's in this, like, glass, thorny prison, and Michael comes through in his form of true love and shatters the prison straight open. And of course, along with Michael is Bellina, Cinderella's sister, Lafina, to come help her and save the day. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Lafina gives Cinderella a big, massive hug, being like, hey, don't be stupid. Even if I want to love you, and even if your curse of torment is being stupid or whatever, I will always love you, because you are my sister. And it ended off with Bellina being like, man, this is the first time I've ever felt such warmth. And it was like just a really nice chapter, of course, with the really funny visuals. Is, as we know, whenever somebody's in like their mental realm or whatever, you have to be naked. It is a rule by all of anime and manga that's just how it's gotta be, right? But I guess we're just going to head and just go in and move into chapter number 25, as we actually open up in the castle town pretty much, as we see Mihal is like standing out in the streets, like all of these people are scared, like, oh my gosh, my child, you were born like 8 weeks ago, and now you're about to be taken out of this world by like these mysterious glass spikes. Oh, the glass spikes are shattering? Oh, that's very good. As we see, they're all just like shattering into all of these pieces and like crumbling down. And Hall is just there being like, oh, is it all over? As we even see in another just absolutely hilarious panel, as we now cut to like inside the castle, where we see that Michael and Rapunzel are just standing next to each other, and Michael's like true love form, stupid looking like hair helmet thing is receding. So we see it like still like the bulge over the top of his head, but like we can clearly see his eyes as like everybody's looking up being like, wow, the curse and its power are waning. As like all of just the spikes everywhere just like crumbling down into thorny brambles or just like hitting the ground. And this honestly begs a really big question. Where did all of this glass come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this glass just going to like disappear into the world? Or is it going to be like, oh yes, for the next 18 years, we are going to be picking up glass chunks off of the ground, like you're going to be walking through your house or like barefoot out in the street and you're going to get nicked by a little bit of glass. Ah, that's from Bellina's thing 18 years ago. I mean, these are the questions that I need Märchen Crown to be answering for me, because until it starts answering those, objectively a terrible series, right? But either way, all of this goes through and happens like, man, the curse and its power are waning, as Ela just is like, oh, I see. The warmth she so longed for was that of her sister all along. As we see that Bellina is just here being hugged by Lafina, and Lafina eventually gives up and like sort of like takes her arm out from around her, being like, hey, wait for me, I'm going to heal you, sister, and all of that various stuff. And it's a little weird because, of course, last chapter we saw that Lafina was crying a little bit of blood from her eyes, and we see here like just like some scars of like where some tears may have been coming down, but we also like do see Lafina wipe away that area of her face, but like, I don't know, was she actually crying blood, or was that just something that, like, Bellina saw due to the Curse of Torment? Like, I'm a little confused there, but I guess it gets the point across at the end of the day, because as this happens, and as Lafina's getting ready to, like, go get in her medical kit and all of that various stuff, Bellina grabs her arm and just like, hey, no, don't. This is fine. And Lafina's like, no, but Bellina! And she's like, no, more importantly, Lafina, can you take me over to King Ela? And at this point, the Curse of Torment has faded from Bellina's eyes. As we see outside, the clock tower is, oh gosh, this is a really good time for Glowplasma to know if he can read a clock or not. So, of course, as we all know, the shorthand is okay, I know what this reads. I'm not that stupid, right? It is currently like 11:55 at night. Like, it is almost close to the very next day. As we see that Ela is down in his big centipede-looking form thing, and I love how Lafina helps Bellina over to the thing, and she's like, oh, Ela, my king, as she just goes down and scoops up King Ela's head in her hands, and Bellina's just looking down at it. He's like, Bellina, forgive me. I was too afraid all this time, afraid of yielding to your curse and hurting you, my dearest, in the process. And we just see that she's like holding up King Ela's head, and it's really funny is like his body's just like attached like this big glass centipede thing in the background, but you know what? She's just holding the head in her hands like anybody else would, you know? As Ela just continues saying like, hey, in spite of my fear, I nonetheless tried to convince myself that I loved you from the bottom of my heart. Even to the point of hiding a lovely face of yours behind a mask. I lacked the confidence to overcome your fate like your sister did. My kindness was a lie. I have no right to have you beside me now. And Bellina puts his head down on the ground. No, she doesn't. She just like holds it out farther, just like looking into his eyes as she looks back, and she's like, hey, I don't mind even if it was a lie, even if you force yourself to act strong, because the fact that you saved me remains the truth. And Ela's like, but Bellina, and she's like, no, King Ela, my name is Cinderella. It's that precious name that you bestowed me with. I will continue to remain by your side. Even should I wither away and fall apart, I'll be with you forever and always, because I am your companion. And Bellina, or as she just says, her name is Cinderella, the one that Ela gave her, leans down and kisses Ela here in the moment. And as this happens, they both close their eyes and share this tender moment. As in the background, another just completely hilarious panel of Michael as he's just like undressing from all of this like hair that's woven around his body. As pretty much she's just like, hey Michael. As pretty much she's just like, hey Michael and Rapunzel, thank you two very much for stopping us, and thanks to that I was able to learn the true warmth of love, you know? So please never let go of it, your kind heart and your strong will. And please, promise me you'll become king. As she reaches down to the ground and picks up a spike of glass. Oh, what are you doing with that? And the very next panel, we just see blood spurting out from the back of Cinderella as Lafina looks onward in shock, eyes wide, as, Cinderella stabs herself here in the moment, as all of a sudden, these petals, these flower petals, I think this is maybe like a white rose or something like that, comes out of the area where Bellina just stabbed herself, and the flower starts to like soak up all of this blood as it almost levitates her into the air, and the place where she stabbed herself starts to like float up, and like the rose is like over like the top of the screen, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much she's being like pulled up by the rose. As we just see Bellina thinks, farewell, I love you, Lafina. As, of course, Lafina runs over like, no, Bellina! As Bellina's dead, cold hand reaches a little bit towards Lafina's, as Lafina gets over there a little bit too late, as Cinderella almost explodes into flower petals, gently falling to the ground. As we see that Lafina cries holding the clothes of her sister, and Michael confronts Rapunzel, who, of course, isn't doing too well after watching somebody who she just tried to save end up dying. And here in the moment, we see these flower petals also start to sprout around where King Ela is. As they all come together, the clock outside strikes midnight, as these flower petals can be seen all around, scattering about the ruined town with all of the various spikes of thorns and all of that, of the glass thorns here in the countryside, the moon shining bright in the sky. As we end off on some narration and just some conversation between both King Ela and Bellina, as we see the two have made it to their personal afterlife, floating around in the midst of the world, of the air around them, both naked. We have to mention that they are both naked here in the moment, as King Ela's like, hey, at long last, I can embrace you face to face. And Bellina just laughs and says, hey, I love you, my King Ela. And the two give a big, warm, loving embrace. As the sun, or as the light of the moon, what does the sun have to do with any? Like, granted, yeah, it's the sun's reflected rays off of this moon. Presumably, we don't know if this is like fantasy land where like the moon produces its own light or something. But either way, the two of them float in the ethereal of nothingness as flower petals fall from the sky, and the two will hold each other in a warm embrace. And that is chapter number 25 of Märchen Crown. This is definitely a chapter, like, there's nothing else to say about that. Yeah, it's nice the whole first, like, true big arc is over, and as much complaints as I had of this arc, we're going to have a really fun video next time talking about chapter number 26, because yes, I have read chapter number 26, I sort of try to keep updated with the manga that I'm covering, and, we're going to have a field day next time, just let me get you guys prepared there, right? But either way, I did like the end of the arc and how it sort of went through and like, hey, all these thorny crowns, or all these thorny, like, glass things are fading away. And I do like the end of Lafina's sort of story being like, hey, thank you for showing me the warmth that of my sister, pretty much. And, like, hey, and Ila's whole thing of like, hey, I'm sorry for not being able to overcome your curse and truly love you. But then at the end of the day, Cinderella just being like, hey, it doesn't really matter, Ela. Like, you gave me that name. And even if it was a lie, like, no, I love you till the very end because the two of us are companions. And then, of course, she has her whole thing of like, hey, Michael and Rapunzel, do your thing. Like, whenever you actually become king, think about me later to be like, oh yeah, remember Bellina back in the day? Before she just stabs herself. Like, I understand it's going to be one of those things to where it's like, she didn't want to live in this world, number one, without Ela, but also with the regret of what she's done to her sister and all that. It's just really funny to be like, oh, and just like die outright. It's honestly just hilarious. And then like, hey, it's a really cool visual of like the flower petals scattering around everywhere, and you can really tell the emotion that like Lafina, Michael, and all of them are feeling here in the moment. But it just really gets me at the very end of the day when the two of them are having this loving embrace in the afterlife, and they're just both naked. It is, oh, it is just so funny to me. And I like, hey, it's a nice sentiment. I really do like it. But it's just so funny, a visual to me of just having them both in the nude in this moment. Like, yeah, they could be wearing their normal clothes and just like sitting in a flower field and like being happy with each other. But no, as we all know, in our inner world, we are all naked to ourselves. I know I'm not, but this is the land of manga and everything else. But yeah, at the end of the day, good chapter of Märchen Crown. I really don't know what the clock tower is supposed to, like, represent in this sense of, like, oh, the clock strikes midnight, like, the dawn of a new day or something like that, but who knows, there may be a little bit of intriguing and mystery to go there. At this point, I would do the whole thing of predicting next chapter, but like I said, it has already come out at the recording of this video, and I already know what happens, so that's not going to happen if you were actually wondering. And yeah, all of that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope the microphone is working pretty good, and I think it is, and I'm listening to it through direct monitoring, and it sounds pretty good, but who knows, maybe I'll open it up in the software and have to, like, boost the audio a little bit and be like, oh no, in the background the entire time you can hear my cat, like, meowing downstairs or something. Who really knows? But if you did enjoy this video on Märchen Crown chapter number 25, well, hey, you're in luck. Glowplasma has covered every single other chapter of Märchen Crown to ever exist in this universe. Granted, I don't know if there's like a one-shot at some point, and in case I didn't do that, but I've covered every single other piece of Märchen Crown content to ever exist. You know what I'm saying? That is everything from chapter 1 till now. There'll be a playlist in the description box of this video and on the end card of this video with that playlist there. And yeah, with all of that out of the way, I will catch you guys next time for Märchen Crown chapter number 26. Until then, this was chapter number 25 of Märchen Crown titled Glass Pear. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time. This will be Glowplasma signing out.